I actually had volume. Ooh, that looks much better. Okay. Now when I'm speaking, the little bar is going up and down. Get the chat up. There we go. Fantastic. Good evening and welcome to the fireplace. This is not my usual streaming spot, but under the circumstances, it seemed like a superior spot because tonight I'm going to say I'm computer free, except for I'm obviously staring at a laptop right now. There's a camera. I have to do the OBS, so I cannot be free of and from technology. That would be ridiculous for someone like me. But it is Screaming Wyvern Wednesday, which happens almost every Wednesday. I just realized that I did not change the name of the game, so I may cause my friend Matthew terrible flashbacks, but I'll get to that in a moment. Anyway, um, end of January 2025. One of my first few solo RPGs was a game called Village Emporium. It's literally, I have the piece of paper right in front of me. I should not be going, Village Emporium by Ways Unseen. And I recently discovered that there will be a add-on being released soon, and to prepare for that, I have decided it would be a great idea to revisit and relearn the rules. Um, how am I sounding out there? Since I've got my friend out there listening, how is it going? Because I'm using these little headsets instead of a really real thing. And oh, well, that's part of the problem right there. Let's go ahead and turn that up. A little quiet. Unacceptable. I must be stupidly noisy. Microphone array AMD. Oh, no, 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 no. Do not be using. What? Promised me that you could see my microphone. You lied to me, voice mod. How can I trust anyone ever again? Okay, microphone access. Help with microphone. Your microphone is currently in use. By whom? Okay. Well, that's not acceptable. Or maybe it is. Let's go ahead and pretend we're starting over again. Stand by. The air conditioning's a nice touch. Better? And just as importantly, is there too much background noise for any fun? Why is that so freakishly loud? Let's kick it old school, I said. Let's pretend we're back in the days of pen and paper, I said. Well, guess what? Pen and paper means no noise reduction for you. And air conditioning is off. Everything is good. It is a Wednesday night. I am a Screaming Wyvern. This has been a show of my incompetence. Yay! Anyway, so yeah, I am here to once again play Village Emporium by Ways Unseen. Of course, it's sounding good now. So yeah, we have the desk here, and about a foot away, 2 feet maybe, I've got a vent. And part of the reason why I was downstairs was, let's minimize extra noise. Anyway. So this is Village Emporium. I don't know how much is actually visible, and frankly, it doesn't matter that much because I will be describing as I go. So, optimally, depending on how things go, I'm hoping to do 3 runs. All with weird shadows. Run number 1 is just going to be chaos. Revisiting the rules, figuring out how it goes again. If I make it through 1, the number 2 will be actually strategizing. And then number 3 will be the orc expansion. The next expansion is going to have to do with fey creatures. But let's not worry about that for just a moment. So, if you can see the map at all, we have this section right here is my actual emporium. I'm going to have a section for trade goods. I'm going to have coins. I'm actually going to use a couple of D10s to keep track of my coins. Extra storage can be bought. Let's see. Over here, we have 2 extremely dangerous things, one of which is haggle points, and one of which is eagle eye points. Both of these will give me a advantage in a event, but in exchange, I'm going to lose points at the end of the game. And ultimately, that's what really matters. We've got a couple of traders, but most importantly is right here. This is the actual map of the area with the village in the middle. Each of the regions has checkboxes, or boxes that I can check. The more places I explore, the more points I get. The more points I get, the better I do at the end. But the more time I spend exploring, the less time I have to actually sell things. So let's go ahead and get started. What do you need? A pencil, a copy of the Village Emporium game sheet, 2 6-sided dice. I will use this one and this one for now. Would be funny if I was green screened. Is there anything interesting I overlooked? No, not really. Okay, so we're going to start off with 5 coins. Because it's going to go up and down, I'm going to go ahead and just use a die to track that. So, I have 4 seasons. I have 6 rounds per season. And for each round, I get the air conditioning to turn back on, or I can forage or trade, or run the shop. I have the ability to upgrade my shop if I've got the money, and I can, and that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and start off with spring, the first event. There is an optional event system in the original game, and I'm going to go ahead and skip that for now. So, if I forage in the plains, which are places with nothing else, then I can get as a common item dock leaves, which have a value of 1. An uncommon item is a wild carrot with a value of 1, and the rare item is a snake skin with a value of 2. If I explore in the forest, which I currently cannot get to, the common item is a truffle with a value of 1, an apple with a value of 2, and honeycomb with a value of 3. If I go on the river, then I can get seaweed with a value of 2, a trout with a value of 3, and a pearl with a value of 4. Now, the downside of any item is that some people are not interested in that item. So I could have all the pearls I want, but if Cobb, who only wants wild carrots and truffles, stops by, I'm not going to sell anything. To do all of my river foraging in the spring. In the summer, I get a foraging bonus in the plains, and in the autumn, I get a foraging bonus in the forests. So, seems pretty logical to go ahead and focus on the rivers for now. So, we're going to start out in the section of river north of town. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. I can only explore a location once. With a 1, I ended up with a thing of seaweed. Very exciting. Go ahead and put that here. And that is the entirety of Spring 1. Assuming that seaweed is not going to be the only thing I can sell, let's go ahead and do another trip to the river. This time I got a 6 for a pearl. That's 2. And then we'll go ahead and do our last hunt at the river for another 2 and another seaweed. Okay. Like I said, I'm not necessarily going to do much full-on strategizing, but it's worth noticing that as far as the pearl is concerned, there is 1, 2. There's 3. Three out-of-town customers. 1, and one local customer who wants pearls. But in both cases, that's random. Let's go ahead and keep working the river until I find myself a trout. So there's one. Ooh. Ask and you shall find one trout. So, the other advantage of me going through the river is that you cannot explore a place which is not next to the town or location that you've already been to. So I can now visit this forest area and this forest area. This forest area is special because it gives me an additional resource. I think it's an additional resource. Let's double check the rules. I was correct. If you forage a location with a +1 symbol, you can roll a second time and collect a second general good. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I have been lazy about clicking off time. I have 2 days left. I'm going to go ahead and use them to explore this part of the river for more seaweed. Oh. I am doing much better than I think. I don't need to put all the seaweed on their own separate places. I can just go ahead and put them all on the same shelf. So it's the last day of spring. I'm going to go ahead and get 2 items. I am at a part of the river where I get an extra item. So that is 1 more seaweed and 1 more trout. Now I have the ability to hire an assistant. And if I hire an assistant, then I actually get to do 2 things. I can hire an assistant at a cost of 3 coin per season. So I am going to go ahead and do that so that I don't waste summer doing all of my, I've got bleep bloops next to me, bleep bloops. So I don't spend the entire summer doing nothing but forage. So let's go ahead and open the shop. Opening the shop means that I get one of my local customers to stop by. In this case, it is Petal. Petal is in the market for seaweed, honeycomb, or leather gauntlets. I can sell cost of general goods, obviously, I didn't spend any money to get the seaweed, so I sell the seaweed for two. That goes down, and this goes up. If I successfully make a sale, then I can try and make another sale, which I will do now. 6 and 5 is 11, which means that Mikhail comes to visit. Mikhail is interested in honeycomb, trout, and healing balms. I have a trout. A trout is worth 3, so flip that to 7. We will take away one of the trouts from our stock, and we will feel very proud of ourselves. So now, I just noticed that there is a +1 here that I wasted. That's very embarrassing. Now I'm going to go ahead and forage here. And by forage, I mean throw my pencil on the ground. I have wires everywhere, so let's not try and move that. A 3 on the plains is dock leaves. And that concludes our first tracker of summer. I feel like, oops. Let's go ahead and zoom in here a bit. Does that actually zoom in, or does that just make blurrier? Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, that looks much nicer. Okay. That's just me. Day 2. Let's go ahead, or click 2. Let's go ahead and see if we've got anyone interesting for So I have 2 people who might be interested in my pearls. One person who might be interested in my trout. No, 2 people. And there's another. So I am going to try and invite an out-of-town customer. Okay, making sure I'm not allowed to just clear out my stock of seaweed. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9. That means that Amara has come to visit. Amara is interested in a trout, a magic scroll, and a ruby amulet. I have a trout, which means that I can sell her a trout, bringing my money total, which I'm going to move here, to a whopping 10, which is very happy making. Also, I have served a customer, and I can try and sell to either another out-of-town customer or a local customer. I have a lot of seaweed still. And some dock leaves. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people who might be interested in stuff I have. That's a 50-50 chance. So yeah, let's go ahead and stay close to home. 5 and 6, that brings Brigga into my shop. Brigga is interested in a wild carrot, an apple, or an iron sword, and I have none of these things. So she is in a world of disappoint. So that was my first action. For my second action, my assistant action, I'm going to go ahead and forage for 2 items in the plane because of the +1 symbol there. A 6 and a 4, that's very nice because a 6 in a plains is a snakeskin. And a 4 is a wild carrot. Okay. Mark that off. And then I'm going to realize that I'm an idiot who has wasted an action, because in the summer I get an extra roll on foraging in the plains. So let's go ahead and do that late. And there are now 2 dock leaves. Sheesh. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and forage this plains for this first action. Yes, I've inverted it. 5 and 5, so that is 2 wild carrots. For a total of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 locals might be interested in what I have. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 people from out of town who might be interested in something I have. Let's stay local. The main difference between serving someone from out of town and serving someone local is that for each person you've served, you get points at the end. So, local, I roll an 8, which is Buttons. Buttons is in the shop for seaweed, apple, or ironmongery. We will go ahead and sell her some seaweed, which will give us an extra 2 coins. And with a healthy supply of that still, let's go ahead and try our second customer of the day. I have rolled 2 2s for 4. This is Hilda. Hilda's interested in truffles, seaweed, and wooden shields. So that is another 2. Okay, that is both of my actions for the day. I'm going to go ahead and mark this so I don't forget. I have the option to do some upgrades. So, for 3, I can buy a fancy sign, which will allow me to serve a 3rd customer if I've managed to serve my 2nd successfully. Expanded storage, I may stock X additional items. A lucky charm, I can decrease the customer roll by 1. Counterbell, I can re-roll my dice while I am running the shop, and also I get 2 extra points at the end. For 8 gold, I can add Christoph Vanguard as one of my trade connections. That's someone that I haven't actually worked with yet. For 9, I can increase my customer roll up to 2, and I get 3 extra points. Tapestries lets me charge 1 extra coin per item, and then we have a couple of things which are very nice but have no other purpose except for give me coins, points at the end. A pet mimic and mahogany shelves. I am very tempted by the expanded storage, because right now I've got everything stocked up from the plains, but if I tried to do a river, or heaven forbid, a forest, I'd be out of space. So I am going to go ahead and spend the 4 to get the expanded storage, which means I now have these 2 spots available. Okay. We are going to start off the day foraging in this plains here. So I get the +1 and the +1 foraging plains bonus. It would be really embarrassing if I had made a special point of pointing that out before it happened. Okay, 1, 2, and another 1. 2 6s, lovely, so that's 2 snake skins. And a 2, which is a 3rd dock leaves. Now, I am interested in spending my other action to do a trade. So I'm going to actively go out, find a trader, and try to buy one of their things from them. I sell any item that I get from a trader for an extra 2 coins from what I bought them for, which doesn't seem that much, but these people, the people who are important for my final score, they like that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and visit Trader A. Trader A, here's that ironmongery they were looking for. A healing balm, leather gauntlets, iron sword, mage robes, and treasure maps. We've seen at least 2 of these things. I rolled a 1, which means that there is a sale right now on ironmongery. I somehow got my coin to 8, which is perfect. And we're going to go ahead and put that here. So that is the day. And of course, I've already spent a lot of money, so let's not add to the day any. I'm going to do another forage right here. I'm going to do my last forage of summer here. So 1 plus the 1 extra, a 3 and a 4, which is another dock leaves, and another carrot. And it's very important that you write small, or you may regret it later. Okay. Let's do another scan of outside people. Hino wants nothing that isn't sold by a trader. Auric might want that pearl. Gunnar might want that pearl. Leaf would want honeycomb, which comes from the forest. I don't have any of that. Lila really doesn't want much, either a trout or some leather gauntlets. Balin wants some snakeskin. Milo wants some seaweed and a pearl. Amara, Willow is just as not impressive. Roland. So let's go ahead and do another count of that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 people that I may be able to sell stuff to at this time. That doesn't seem likely enough. So let's just go ahead and keep the sales in town. 11. This is Mikhail again. Mikhail is looking for honeycomb, trout, or a healing balm, which I don't have. So I spend the rest of the day, time period, whatever, haggling with them with no money changing hands. So, as discussed, I'm going to go ahead and do my last search. 5 and 4, that is many wild carrots. And 1 more dock leaves. So we are doing very well where the plains trade goods are concerned. Now, I have 8 gold. I want to go ahead and get a new assistant in the autumn. But I also really want to be more appealing to out-of-town customers. So let's see. Leather gauntlets or an elixir of strength. A bracelet or a treasure map. Mage's robes. a tome of oddities, leather gauntlets, a treasure map, or a paraglider, an ancient mirror, or seaweed and pearl, which I do have, bracelet, or an elven sword, an iron sword, or a magic scroll. It feels overall like I am probably going to have better luck going to Trader A. Or sticking with Trader A, more to the point. So that's another ironmongery. I'll go ahead and the only person who wants an ironmongery, oh, Sven and Buttons both. There are two people who may want it. I'm going to go ahead and pass on that purchase. So that concludes the final day of summer. Okay, so as discussed, I'm going to go ahead and spend the 3 so that I have an autumn assistant. I am going to go ahead and waste my bonus for the moment, my foraging bonus, so that I can at least say that I explored all of the river. With a 3, that is just a second thing of seaweed. Now, I could use some more money, although Trader A, all of their items are 2 to 5. I'm going to go ahead and serve a local customer. 5 and 4 is 9. Hans is looking for an apple, snakeskin, or boar meat. Well, it so happens that we have multiple snakeskins for him to purchase for the price of 2 gold, putting me back to 7. And we'll go ahead and do another local. 6 and 3 is 9 again. Let me just go ahead and make sure that I'm not supposed to re-roll that. So clearly he came back just for the joy of buying another snakeskin. Saw I had a spare, headed out, regretted not getting the second one, came back and purchased it. I said I had forgotten to change the name. I only promise that I will do my best to show off indie games. I never promised I would be good at it. Okay. We are now in the second round of autumn. So if I go ahead and do a forest search, let's go hellbent and make our first forest search all the things. So I have 2 6s and a 5. That is 2 honeycombs. And 1 apple. And I'm going to go ahead and use my second action to go to a trader. Trader A. Oh God. Can we pretend that it's my game? I can pretend anything I want. Okay, a 2. I rolled a 2 and never rolled anything else. So that is a healing bomb. Okay. So that's another action down. Let's go ahead and keep going, or go north in the forest. So with my bonus, a 5 and a 6, that's 3 honeycombs and 2 apples in stock. So let's see about getting some of these marked off. I still have a pearl, so that's 1. 2. Honeycomb and a healing balm, that's 3. I have no trout. I have no snake skin. I have seaweed. So and healing balm. So 5 of these 11 out-of-town customers. The odds are not necessarily in my favor yet, but I need to try. 3, 4, 5. That is Leaf. Leaf is interested in a honeycomb and a healing balm. So the honeycomb, of which I have plenty, the honeycomb is worth 3. So that puts me at 12. The healing balm is 3, so I get a 2 gold markup. Again, it's on the paper in front of me. I don't know why I was stumbling on that. So that's another 5. Which puts me at 17 allegedly. Okay. We'll go ahead and remove the healing balm. $17. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. 17. So I can go ahead and mark him off. That's 2 out-of-town customers. Let's go ahead and try for one of our locals. See if we can just focus on money. This is Vlad. Vlad is looking for truffles, which we don't have any of, which is funny because they are the common item. A snakeskin or a patch cloak. I'm out of snakeskins. I'm out of patch cloaks. Alas. But still, my out-of-towner, that was a good thing. So that concludes that day. I now have plenty of money, technically. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my favorite trader and say, what do you have for me today? And he's going to say, I have a treasure map. And I'm going to say, that sounds like an amazing thing, and I wish to purchase it. So and I'm going to go ahead and grab 3 things from the forest. So now we have our first truffle. And past that, one with everything. Okay. I have 12 gold. Do I want to spend any of that? I don't care about the third customer. My luck just isn't that impressive. I can decrease my customer roll by 1, which is kind of tempting. That means that, for example, if I rolled a 9 again, I could change that to an 8 and have someone who's actually interested in my stuff. But probably not quite yet. So we'll start off trolling the forest, of course. A 4 and a 2, which is another apple and another truffle. Ironically, that gives my numbers 4 and 2. I am currently looking at 5 people from out of town who could buy something. That's not quite a 50-50 chance, but it might be worth trying. 5, 6, 7, 8. Milo. Milo is a perfect customer. Milo is looking for 1 seaweed and a pearl. So a seaweed is 2, a pearl is 4, so that is 6 total, which brings me to a total of 18. And more importantly, I've got another tick. And I know that sounds bad, because most people don't want to have ticks, but that's okay. It is the last day of autumn. I have not visited here, here, or here. I'm going to go ahead and take my second to last double forage, giving me a 2 and a 6 for 3 truffles and 4 honeycomb. And now I'm going to go ahead and go talk to a trader because I have a little extra money. This will be Trader B. Trader B has a wooden shield for sale. Now, who wants a wooden shield? No one from out of town. Hilda, who lives locally, does want one. But regardless, that is the end of autumn. I go ahead and I hire the assistant for winter. No foraging on rivers, which we've already decided is fine. We're going to start off visiting Trader B. This time they have a Tome of Oddities. Five. That leaves me with 7. Look at how brilliant I am as math. Hire me for all of your math needs. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, again, not quite a 50-50 chance, but not gonna get points if you don't take the risks. A 2 and a die on the floor. A 2 and a 5 is 7. That is Balin. Balin is in the market for a treasure map, which I recently purchased. So, I bought the treasure map for 5. I get to sell it for 7, which puts me at 14. I guess I no longer have the excuse magic hands. And a small earthquake. Okay. Let's go ahead and try to serve someone locally. 6, 8. This is Buttons. Buttons still wants seaweed. But Buttons is also in the mood for an apple. So that's the last of the seaweed. 2 and 2 is 4. That puts me at 8. So I'm going to go ahead and go here and forage this last plains area. With a 3, that gives me another dock leaves. I currently have 6 dock leaves, which is honestly a little disappointing. Since I'm currently sitting at 18 gold, let's go ahead and meet up with Trader A. I rolled a 5, which is a set of mage's robes. And of course, that completes, whoops, our second event. Okay. I'm again going to go ahead and do my count. 1. I no longer have a pearl. I no longer have a treasure map. 2. 3. 4. My odds are extremely bad now. I think I'd better consider I'm going to go ahead and purchase the Lucky Charm, which gives me a smidge of control. I'm going to get ahead of myself by a lot. I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and sell something. So let's stay local. 9. That's our old friend Hans. Hans is in the market for an apple. So what was I doing? I'm at 14 currently, and that brings me up to 16 with the sale of apple for 2. I can do another local sale, which means I can drop another die on the ground. 4. Hilda is looking for a truffle and a wooden shield. Let's go ahead and sell her both of those things. So the truffle is worth 1. The wooden shield I bought for 3, so that's and 5 would bring me down to 17. But now I can slightly adjust who I work with. Okay. I'm going to start off the day foraging. I got 2 things from the forest. 4 and 4, and both of those items are apples. So let's go ahead and have one last attempt at an out-of-town customer. 4. 4 is Gunnar, who is looking for a pearl, boar meat, or mage robes. Mage robes are absolutely fine by me, so that will be that off the list. And 23 as my number. Okay. And now it is the final day, or whatever. So let's go ahead and finish out this whole thing, giving me another truffle. And one more sale. Yeah, I know I didn't make another sale yesterday. Let's say. 5 and 10. That's Willow. Willow wants a trout, a bracelet, or an elven sword. I have none of those things. I could go to Amara, who I've already worked with, who has a trout, a magic scroll, and a ruby amulet, or wants those. So that is tragically a miserable failure on my part. But I have now finished my first game. So I get 1 CP for every 3 locations visited. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So I get 7 locations visited points. Upgrades. Neither of my upgrades gives me CP. Out of town customers. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 CP for every 5 coins I have released. Now, I could have used haggle points to increase the amount of money I get. And I could use Eagle Eye to locate a different item from the terrain. But I did not use any, so I do not have any points there. So, for the first game of the evening, I have come down with 15 points. 15 points is not bad. Some people suggest I'm superior to the smart Goblin Mart. So, what did we learn here? Number 1, obviously, these are all worth 1. It's a good idea to continue working all of that, exploring all of that. Coin is pretty good, but it's in orders of 15, so there's some questions there. And so, getting this counterbell would have lost me 1 point and gained me 2 points, and maybe have gotten me some more stuff. So, let's go ahead and see what happens when we play with events, it is beautiful, it is clean, you've never seen its like. We start with 5. Now, for the sake of efficiency, I am going to immediately spend 3 gold on an assistant. So I am going to go to this spot here. Five and 9. Plentiful foraging. Roll as usual, but then roll a second time, this time for another terrain of your choice. Don't mark off a second location. So I successfully forage here. Getting myself some seaweed, which is surprisingly good. But I'm also going to look for something from the forest, because I otherwise can't get anything from the forest this early in the game. And I end up with an apple. Okay, so is it likely that I'm going to get a good customer this early in the game? No. Do I have anything else to do with the second half of my turn? No. Does it lose me points to try? No. 2. Cobb is looking for a wild truffle or a carrot. Wild carrot or a truffle is what's actually written. So that's day 1 done. I am going to continue north and start heading here. 6, 7, 8. 8, I found a coin on the road. Apparently, it is my lucky day. We'll see if the foraging agrees with that. 6, yes, it does. That is a pearl. Let's go for a local. 6. Brigga. Brigga is looking for a wild carrot, an apple, or an iron sword. We actually have an apple today, so let's go ahead and sell that for 2. And we'll go ahead and see if the second person shows up. 5, 6, 7. That is Vlad, the truffle and snakeskin looker for her. So we've disappointed him. Okay. Now I'm heading to this one, which is going to give me a bonus item. 5, 6, 7. 7 is an uneventful excursion. Nothing unusual happens. So I can go ahead and mark this spot off. 4 and 6. So that is another pearl and a trout. And see who drops by. 5, 6, 7, which is again the truffle wanter Vlad. So no sales there. So I'm going to go ahead and head here to forage. 8. 8 is another coin. Not going to complain about that. So 3, that is another seaweed. And now that I have 6 gold, I'm going to go to Trader A. Trader A has an iron sword on sale, which I am going to take, leaving me with 2. Let's just make sure I haven't forgotten. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Okay, so we're headed here. 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is that plentiful foraging, so wonderful. For the river, I find another trout, and I really like the idea of searching for something from the forest as my alternate. And that is a honeycomb. Very nice. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is absolutely worth it to try and lure an out-of-town customer. 3. That is Auric, who is looking for a pearl, and I have 2. So Auric has given me 6. I still have everything, so I'm going to go ahead and try for another out-of-town customer. 5, 6, 7 is Balin, who wants snakeskin, treasure map, or a paraglider. So I am not able to help him this time. Okay. Last river search for the spring. I forgot I can roll 2. Both of them were 2, which means that I am currently... Oh. I forgot my events. Well, that is a shame. I'll go ahead and go visit Trader A again. Three. 3 would be a foraging event, so it doesn't affect me. And I can purchase a healing balm for 3. That ends the month. I spend the last of my gold to go ahead and get an assistant. So we are now getting a bonus when we forage plains. We're going to start off trying to bring in an out-of-town customer. 6, 7, 8, 9. That's Amara. Amara is looking for a trout, which I have, meaning that I now have 3 gold again. Let's do this one here. I get a bonus item, 6 and 1 means dock leaves. And a snake skin. I'm only going to keep the snake skin. Someone has forgotten something. Someone has forgotten 2 things. Okay. Well, that's the start of summer. Whatever. Okay. We have trade goods out the yin-yang. This brings me Hino. Hino wants leather gauntlets, a tome of oddities, he should have visited last game, or an elixir of strength. I'm going to go ahead and forage in this spot here. So first I'm actually going to remember that I get to have an event. 6, 7, 8. This is a lucky day. So another coin on the road. And foraging 2 items. Neither of which I have room for. At least I got a coin out of it. If I go ahead and spend all of my money for the expanded storage, oh, I get one more roll, and it wasn't a snakeskin, so. Okay, let's quickly check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. No cheating is happening. Just, I currently have 2 dice on the floor. So I have no money, so we absolutely need to start off with some sales. 6, 7, 8, 9. That was Amara, who is going to buy our last trout. And that brings me back to 3. Let's try one more out-of-towner. 6, 7, 8. Milo is looking for seaweed, a pearl. It would be very funny if he was also looking for one of these 2 items, but still. 4, 5, 6. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9. Lovely. I'm going to go ahead and spend 4 of what I have so that I can now... No, 5 of what I have, leaving me with 4. Got that backwards. So that I can adjust my die roll down by 1. Okay. The first time I'm going to the plains without planning on throwing anything away. I'm going to this one here. 5, 6, 7, an uneventfully in excursion. 2 rolls on here. 3 and a 4 is the dock leaves and a wild carrot. Go ahead and do a try and get an out-of-town customer. 2, which is Hino again. So, very disappointing. Perfect. Going out to forage in this spot, which gives me 3. 6, 7. That was the uneventful excursion. So 1, 1, 2. So that is 2 more dock leaves and an extra wild carrots. We'll go ahead and try for sales. 6, 7. That's Balin, who wants a snake skin, which we have, a treasure map, or a paraglider. But the snake skin is all we can offer. For 2. Going to try another sale. 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the same chap for some reason. We no longer have a snakeskin, so he's not interested. I am going to end the day because that's what point it is. Let's go ahead and explore this river space right here. 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is plentiful foraging with a bonus from another spot. So 5 is a new trout. Plus, let's do the forest. An apple. Be sure I don't have any apples before I start putting it into the extra storage. And there we go. Okay, and we'll go ahead and an out-of-town customer, 5, 6, 7, Balin, gosh darn it. So that was a waste. And we'll do our final plains visit here. Oh geez, I've been making some mistakes. Plentiful foraging, roll as usual, but then roll a second time. I've been rolling a second time and leaving it at that, despite the fact that in this place, for example, I get 3. So they're all 4s. Nothing but carrots for miles around. But one more thing from the one more thing from the river, and that's going to be another seaweed. We'll go ahead and try for another out-of-town customer. 9 is Amara. Amara may not be a new customer, but at least she wants a trout for 3, bringing me up to 9. And I feel like that's wandered. There we go. No, it's too far. Okay. Yes. So I have another sale I can attempt. 4, 5, 6, 7. Gosh darn it, Balin, go away. Just go. Shoo. Scat. That ends summer. We move into autumn. 9, 8, 7. 6. It costs 3 to hire an assistant. So now we're starting to forage forests. We're headed for this one right here. With a 2. Goblin Raiders. I can lose 2 coins and continue, or I can go home empty-handed. I am going to pay the bribe so that I can hopefully find something of use, which in this case is 2 more apples. I no longer want to visit the trader, so let's see if we've got an out-of-town customer who's looking for a healing bomb. 3. A pearl, a bracelet, or a treasure map. None of those fit the definition of a healing bomb. Or an iron sword, obviously. So that part was a bit of a waste. We're now moving to this spot here. Six. You've a hole in your pocket. Lose 1 coin. Very tragic. Much sad. Where is the 3? There is the 3. Okay. Customer time. No, I haven't even done my foraging. I was going to this one here. 2 5s and a 3. So that's a truffle and 2 more apples. And of course, try to do a sale. 6, 11. Roland. Roland is in the market for an iron sword. We have one of those. We've been trying to sell it. So iron sword is 4. I get 6. That goes to 9 for me. Okay. Head to this spot. See what happens. 6, that is an 11. If I had been looking for a trader, then I would have gotten a 2 coin discount. So it's a real disappointment that I was not looking for a trader. But let's see what I get for my troubles. 4. Or I mean 2 2s, which is 2 truffles. Okay, I am going to go ahead and just try and make some sales. 6 and 4 is 10. This is Petal. Petal is looking for a seaweed, so that would be 2. A honeycomb, so that will be a total of 5. And leather gauntlets, which doesn't really help much. That puts me up to 14. I'm going to try an out-of-town customer because what's the worst that can happen? I roll a 4 for Gunnar. Gunnar is looking for a pearl, which I no longer have, a boar meat, which I no longer have, and a mage's robe, which was the previous game. I don't know why that's hard for you to understand. Okay. I'm going to mark that off so I don't forget. And then I'm going to smack my head against the desk because I forgot that I can make decisions. I'm going to go ahead and purchase the tapestries. If you are Scottish Lord, I am Mickey Mouse. 1 extra coin per item sold and 3 points at the end. Let's go ahead. We've got our lovely 3 item there. 6, 7, 8. That is a coin. We like that. And now customers would really like some 6s. These are not 6s. 2 more truffles and 1 more apple. And let's go ahead and try and meet the trader. 11. Your chosen trader is in a good mood. It's the one I wanted earlier. So an iron sword for only 2. That's a fantastic deal. Okay. Head to this far spot here. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a coin on the road. We do love those. And just more truffles. Let's go ahead and try for an out-of-town customer. 4 and 5. That's Leaf. Leaf is looking for honeycomb, a healing balm, or a tome of oddities. And it so happens we have a healing balm. 3, 5, 6. So that brings me up to 12. And one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I forgot to mark. I think this is the one I was going for. So that I can have my last day be 3 attempts. So 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is that lovely situation where I get an extra item from wherever I want. And finally, we have a 6 for a honeycomb. Another apple and another truffle. Let's go ahead and try an out-of-towner. 6, 7, 8, 9. Have nothing for them. If I go to 8, then I can at least make some money and call it a successful day. So that's another 2. Total of 14. I'll go ahead and grab someone local. 6, 7, 8, 9 is Hans, who wants apples. Or I can go down to Buttons, who wants seaweed and an apple. So seaweed is 3 now. An apple is also 3 now. So that's 6. Bring me up to 20. And that's autumn over. Winter. I'm not even going to bother with an assistant for winter. Okay. First off, I'm going to try and visit a trader. Let's do B this time. 5, 6. You have a hole in your pocket. Very disappointing. $19 left. He is offering an elixir of strength. For 5. And we're going to go ahead and try and make a friend from out of town. 5 is Leaf. We have a honeycomb for him. And trying to go Gunnar would not give me anything. So let's just go ahead and take the honeycomb for 4. We'll go ahead. Why did I do 2? That was... Okay. Another out-of-towner. 4, 5, 6, 7. That's Balin. We have nothing for him or Lila. Let's do one more sale. 7 is Balin and Lila again. And let's do today's as locals. 4, 5, 6, 7. That's Vlad who wants a truffle. We got that. A snakeskin. Or I can sell some of these carrots. And an apple. So an apple with my bonus is 3, and a wild carrot with my bonus is 2. So that's 5. Sheesh. One more local. 7. Vlad wants truffles and snakeskins, or I can go down to Briga and sell another wild carrot and an apple for 5, which gives me 28. So, locations visited. I skipped 3 this time. So it's only 6 points from there. Upgrades, I have 3. Out-of-town customers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Coin, I have 28, so that's 5, and I did not use any haggle points. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20. Which is technically the same level that I had before, but, this is important, it looked a lot more impressive. So that was Village Emporium, no expansions, no surprises that I didn't manage to get to the orc after our slightly problematic start to the evening. But, again, Village Emporium will be getting a Fae-based expansion, and that Ways Unseen is hoping for it in the next month or 2. I'm looking forward to it so much that I've offered to playtest. So you will get none of my opinions on it. That is between me and the creator. So there. And with that cranky joke out of the way, I will be back next week, where I will probably be taking a journaling game, something serious after such a lighthearted evening. So until then, thank you for watching, and as always, remember to be one of the good ones, because there's way too many of the bad. Good night.